Good evening, everyone. I'm Rial Perriard. Again, thank you for taking the time to meet with us. The winter has really started now. We're in the middle of winter. Lots of people have gone out skiing. You're on the call. You know, you're either someone who's been with the event before and you kind of notice things are a little bit different this year than other years, but maybe a bit similar to last year, unfortunately. Maybe you attended the last webinar. It's our second one it's our third one this winter, actually, because we've been changing dancing partners a couple of times. And also maybe you're new. Last year during the the pandemic, we went for the first time virtual. One of the beauties of this pandemic, if we can say it that way, if it's not inappropriate, is that we brought a lot of new skiers to the Canadian Ski Marathon, and that's something that really excited us. A small note, si vous êtes ici, vous parlez le français, on a un autre webinaire à 8 heures ce soir, je pense. Donc, vous pouvez certainement rester avec nous ou vous pouvez revenir à 8 heures si vous voulez. Aucun problème. Fred et moi, on est pas mal bilingues. On va être là encore en français à 8 heures ce soir avec JR. A little bit of, before I launch into things, I'm going to do a little bit of a repeat some of the message that Fred had. At the bottom of your screen, you'll see a Q&A icon. If you could use that to ask questions. When I do, I'll be the main speaker. I'll let other folks introduce themselves in a moment. When I talk, Fred and Chris will be monitoring the Q&A and answering with a keyboard. When they see questions that are less individualistic and they feel that the crowd might be interested, they might stop and ask me the question so that I can kind of voice the answer for everyone to hear. If you try to avoid use the chat feature for the questions, because the Q&A gives us the ability to record all the questions that get asked with the answers, and then it's something we can post on our website for everyone to see the results of the Q&A. So it's great for all the fellow skiers. You can use the chat line just to shout encouragement and make jokes and those kinds of things. So before I do any more talking, I'll just I'll let you guys introduce yourselves. Chris, if you could go.
So I'm Chris Taron. I'm one of the members of the board, and my history with the CSM is all as a volunteer at various checkpoints and other logistics roles. And I finally have the opportunity to ski in the event while it's in virtual mode. So.
Thanks, Chris. And Chris is, yes, he has a long history as a volunteer, beyond being a board member, which is, he's been awesome for the event. He's our map guru. He's always intimately familiar with the trail that we use when we have an in situ event, whether it be, well, the last few years, it's been, north to the east as we go to Lachute, but whatever trail we choose to use, Chris is the guy who knows the trail inside out, along with our groomer, of course. Frederick?
So hi everyone. I was answering a question in the Q&A. Hi everyone. My name is Frederick Menard, and I'm the lucky event director with the Canadian Ski Marathon. It's my 8th year with the event, and super keen, super proud, really happy to be associated with the event. And feel privileged to be around such an historic event with a great community, and really feel like I'm a member of a big special family. So great to be here tonight, and also great to see lots of familiar names in the attendees list. So that's it. Merci.
Thank you. Merci beaucoup. Quelques mots, a few words, Sylvain?
Yeah, very so quickly. So Sylvain Parent, I don't know, 8-9 years on the board or so. Last June, I passed the reins as the president to Réal, which he's doing a fantastic job. Thank you, Réal, for all that you do, leading this group. And I really look forward to seeing a lot of you on the trails again. Last year, I skied a ton. did a couple of golds and a half marathon as well, virtually, and a bunch of sections. And I saw, I'll say probably about 150 skiers I mingle with. So I really look forward to seeing all of you on the trails again, and so on. So, and I'm not gonna take part in this session. I just came in to say hello, and I'm gonna move on quickly.
Thanks, Sylvain. Thanks for everything that you do. And Sylvain, even though he no longer has the nice title of president, but he's one of the key contributors in the background, and is very involved with registration and with some of the relationships that he's built over the years with some key suppliers. So thank you very much, Sylvain. And so I'm Rial Perriard. I've been at the ski marathon. I haven't missed a year since 1991. It's going to be year number 32. And so, as a lot of people say, like you guys, I'm somebody who loves cross-country skiing. I love being outside, and this is for many years has been my favorite. Well, it still is my favorite event, but it's kind of the event that's defined my year for me, and my whole year was built around the Canadian Ski Marathon. I retired a few years ago, and like a lot of people, I wanted to give back. And so, I'm on the team helping out, doing some volunteer work. And having said that, there are another about 7 people that are not on the call right now. Well, there's more than 7 people, but there's 7 people that form the board of directors for the ski marathon that kind of steer the ship. And I just want to acknowledge them for all the work that they do as well. If you attend the AGM in June, you would see those folks on the Zoom call that we had in June. And also want to give a shout out to the event volunteers who are not obviously present this year, but if some of you heard me talk in December when I did one of our earlier webinars, and I'll get into some of those details in a moment. We were planning an in-situ event before Omicron, and with all the challenges and difficulties, the usual volunteers from the Canadian Ski Marathon, which just has an awesome team of volunteers that have been there for, some of them 35 years volunteering at the event. A lot of them were coming back and they were willing to help us. And even though they're not obviously present this year, they're still with us and they're still part of the family, and they deserve a thank you every year for the next 30 years. So I want to shout out to them. I also want to thank the community, Montebello, which obviously isn't going to see us the same way. They're very supportive of us, and all the communities along the trail are very supportive of our event. I just want to kind of give a bit of a thank you to them. And so I can talk forever, but it probably helps if I have some slides. I'm going to pull up some slides now just to help guide the conversation. Bear with me while I do. Can you guys see this?
Yes.
I'm going to click the, sorry, I'm having trouble finding, there it is. So I'm going to talk for about probably a half an hour to 40 minutes. This is kind of scheduled for roughly an hour. I don't have that much material. The event, I wanted to say the event is not overly complicated this year, but I know that if you're new to the Canadian Ski Marathon, it is a very different event from other, whether it's a ski lopit or running, a city 10K or a city marathon. There's a lot of language that we use that if you're new to us, can be a bit confusing. And it's one of the reasons, last year, because of the pandemic, we switched into having these webinars to help we wanted to meet the skiers as we are now, and it's much better. We still have a website, we have e-blasts, but meeting the community, somewhat in person is really awesome. We get more of a sense of what the community wants, and we can kind of communicate better with the skiing community. And because things are a little bit different, that's why we have this. So having said all that, I want also folks to appreciate, some of you have been there for 20, 30 years. There's some of you that are coming, for the first year, maybe this year or last year was your first year. Ask all the questions you want. There, as they say, there's no bad questions. And we're going to try to, talk to the people that have been here for 20 years and also talk to the new people. So this is our logo for this year. The 56th Canadian Ski Marathon. We started in 1967 as a 3-day event from Montreal to Ottawa, and it's been going steadily. The route kind of changed over the years, but the last few years, we've been traveling from the south of Montebello, south of Mont Tremblant, 80 kilometers to Montebello and 80 kilometers to Lachute. This year, we had planned to go towards Buckingham again. And as the pandemic was too slow leaving us, our background plan was to have a one-day event. And if some of you heard me talk in December, we announced a one-day event that was focused around 90 kilometers of trails. And during that talk, we were very kind of open, saying we knew this was just before Christmas. And as we had finished our planning, the Omicron news was arriving. And we knew that in our back pocket, there was a high likelihood, that we would have to change direction. And sure enough, during the Christmas holidays and by early January, the decision was made. I forget exactly when, but we did announce it, I think in early January, that we were going virtual again this year. So it is a virtual event that's very similar to what we did last year. There's a few tweaks to make things a little bit better and to also maybe prepare skiers for next year as well. So we're going to basically talk about, what is the virtual CSM this year, and then give some suggestions on how to behave for the event, and kind of describe a little bit what are the differences this year to last year if you participated last year, because there's a few things that will be a little bit different. And of course, nowadays you can't help but have a presentation that has COVID-19 on the agenda. So there's going to be some closing remarks on COVID-19 and make sure we're respectful. One of the things that's kind of cool, what happened last year is, we have people from all over North America and people that skied in Antarctica, in Europe, in the UK. We had like this wild excitement last year, and the event kind of truly went, it's called a Canadian Ski Marathon, but it went global. And when we're in situ, we have people that come, mostly from there's obviously Ontario and Quebec people, and there's some people from other parts of Canada. We get Eastern US, we've had representation from Colorado. But to kind of see this step up where we had skiers from, from different parts of the globe was really cool. So, so where we were and where we are. So I touched a little bit on this when I talked about the fact that we had planned a one-day event. And if you heard that talk again, I'll repeat it. Obviously by early January, it was very obvious that this could not be done. There's a variety of reasons. I think the two main ones is we wanted to be really respectful of the communities that we would go into. And even though we had worked really closely with the health authorities and we had approved plans in our back pocket, we had procedures to address all the kind of the COVID rules and restrictions to be able to put forth an in situ event. There's the real reality that, we end up bringing a lot of people from all over into rural communities. And we were very sensitive to that. And also, there's the volunteer base, right? The volunteer base that is traveling from different parts, of the region. Some of them are driving many hours to come and help us in the event. And we wanted to be really safe for the volunteers and not put them in harm's way. And not just from COVID, but even from the logistics of them having to drive many hours to support a one-day event, then having trouble finding lodging because of things being shut down. It was kind of a no-brainer. So we launched the event. Now this is a poster, from all around the globe. Let's ski together. That's what we're going to do this year. We're starting in early February, which is, days away. You'll notice that it goes to March 20th. It's a little bit different from last year. And then at the bottom, you'll see 15 kilometers per section for tours, a half marathon, that's 45 kilometers, and the Coureur des Bois category, which is traditionally, when we talk of the bronze, silver, and gold, people that ski 80 kilometers a day in the in situ event. Last year, they skied 50 kilometers a day, and this year they're going to ski 2 consecutive days of 60 kilometers. And I'll get into some of those details in a moment. So where and when, again, wherever you are, find your local trail. I'll show our website at the end of our presentation here, and you'll notice that under the virtual CSM tab, we have something called training trails. We've done an amazing job, and Chris has done a lot of that work for us, where we've partnered with ski centers. I dare say, I don't want to say across all of North America, but there's quite a few in the US. And of course, Ontario and Quebec are the main areas. And these are ski centers, ski clubs that have a partnership. They've designated some of their kind of marquee trails that are representative of the Canadian Ski Marathon. And so you can find these, these trails on our website. And by all means, if you're within driving distance of one of these, it's an area where if you don't quite know where to go ski, you can kind of explore that, get in touch with us if you need some advice. But basically, wherever you are, whatever you can do within the COVID framework, when we create this, we realize that people are in different communities. Some people live in Vermont, some people live in Montreal, in Quebec City, in Toronto, and different regions, have different rules to contend with. Last year, we had people who were skiing on Mount Royal. They were going home and they were sleeping, if they were doing the goal, they were sleeping in their backyard, in Montreal, or in a high rise on a balcony outside. It was kind of a cool thing to do, was kind of people coming together and doing what they could to participate. Because we know participation in this is very good for all of us. One of the best things.
Yeah, I'm gonna interrupt you 2 seconds. My apologies. I know you got a good flow. I'm gonna exit after this. I just wanted to give a shout out to someone that's in the attendees, which is Rick Mandel, specific to the training trails, because one of the furthest away official training trail that we have is in Salt Lake City. Rick travels usually to Montebello every year to come and see us with his lovely wife. It's 2 years that we miss him now. So shout out to Rick for getting the Olympic cross-country center outside Salt Lake City as an official training trail. So shout out to him. And on that note, have a good session. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Sylvain, for destroying the flow. Having said that, though, I appreciate you bringing that up, because as I'm talking, I am a little bit in a flow, and I try not to look at the names of who's on the call, because I get distracted with all these people, and I'd rather just not know. But Rick, shout out to you. Rick was instrumental in having this training trail in Utah, which is the Olympic Training Center. So it's very prestigious for us to have that on our list. We're very excited. So thank you, Rick from Utah. And can't wait to see you in the actual Montebello at Gold Camp one year. So that's kind of the framework. Last year, the event, I think, was finishing on March 7th. We realized that there was no downside to extending it by a couple of weeks. What we've achieved by going to March 20th is we're encompassing both the Quebec and the Ontario spring breaks. So, people that are impacted with their kids being at home, who maybe want to use that time to go skiing with their kids, if they're doing touring with their kids or coureur des bois with their kids, they have a bit of extra time. We're very relaxed about the dates. There's nothing magical about them. If you have to ski on February 4th or on March 22nd, please do so. Just give us a heads up so we know, so that we make sure that when we tabulate the results, some of it is automated, and we want to make sure there isn't a computer that kicks out your results because you've skied on March 22nd. Your ski is still going to be accepted. There's nothing wrong with you skiing on March 22nd. We just want to define the event for the media and for the advertising and everything. We have these dates that we've put out. That's it for that. So how does it work? Again, you'll notice on our website, and again, at the last slide, I'll show you what the website looks like, but you can go to skimarathon.ca. There's a tab there for the virtual CSM. There's a 2-page description of what the event is all about. If you have any questions, reach out to us. There's an email address called info@skimarathon.ca that I think I mentioned it again at one of the future slides, and I'll talk about that. But basically, you select your category. If you're a tourer, you're someone who wants to accumulate as many outings as you want. You ski 15-kilometer chunks. So it's modeled and patterned after the in situ event. If you ski a 10-kilometer outing, it's not a ski marathon section. So you need to ski a 15-kilometer outing to have a touring section. If you ski 30 kilometers, you've done 2 sections in one day. You basically have the entire I forget how many weeks, I think it's 6 or 7 weeks, that duration, to accumulate as many sections as you want. You can ski more than 10. In the context of the Canadian Ski Marathon award system, you'll only be credited for a maximum of 10, but by all means, ski more than 10. The half marathon is targeted for folks who think that maybe the Coureur des Bois category is a little bit too much for them. It's 45 kilometers in a single outing. If you're someone who maybe has never done more than 30, 35K, and you're wondering if you want to test yourself with a little extra challenge, it's kind of analogous, you know, to doing a half road marathon compared to a full road marathon. It usually takes folks, you know, 5 to 6 hours, depending on skiing ability, to do the half marathon. So if it's a big outing for you, maybe you want to sign up for that, and it will give you an idea how easily you do that, or how hard it is, whether or not, you know, you could aspire to the Coureur des Bois category either this year or in a future year. Because this year, there's nothing wrong with skiing for more than one category. You can register more than once, and you can sign up for multiple categories. You know, each time you register for a different category. You cannot accumulate 2 Coureur des Bois awards, though. These awards are done, you know, once a year. If you've read our website, you know a bit about the event, you know that you've got to ski your silver before you're allowed to do your gold, and you've got to do your bronze before you're allowed to ski the silver. So you can't use 2022 to go, you know, bronze, silver, and gold. You can just pick one, and you'll get credited for the most advanced one that you qualify for. As usual, once you've registered, we assign a bib number on our website. You can see who are the confirmed entrants. You'll get your bib number assigned to you there, and you'll print your bib. And when you go skiing, we'll ask that you take photos of your bib and yourself, mostly for the sheer fun of it, and for advertising on Facebook and, you know, social media, Instagram, and to kind of generate some excitement and fun. You can make your, you know, your bib as pretty as you want, add color, get your kids to do some design work, and go out there on Facebook and put out stuff. Last year, we were surprised by how much excitement we generated in the kind of a Canadian, I want to say the Canadian landscape of cross-country skiing. We were one of the more successful cross-country ski virtual event last year in the country. And that's largely because of the skiers who kind of flocked to the event and had a lot of fun. And part of that was using social media. Proof of performance, you know, we had some challenges last year with that. We are simplifying things. It was a bit of a learning experience. The tours and the half marathons are allowed to submit the GPS files, but they don't need to. And we want to keep things as simple as possible. We would probably prefer if they use, we're calling it the honor system. So once you've signed up, every person that signs up gets a unique link sent to them by email after registration. I think these emails are going to start to go out in the next couple of days, I believe. Chris, you could just nod your head. I think it's tomorrow or
tomorrow, because Saturday is the first day of the event.
Exactly. So we're already, today's Thursday. So tomorrow, people that have signed up will receive the link, and that's the place where they'll go to submit their results. It's fairly straightforward. You basically enter the date and the amount of kilometers you skied that day. You could do it as the weeks go by. Every time you ski, you can go to that URL and you can enter the date and number of kilometers. You can wait till the end of the week and enter a couple of dates. You know, you can do that whichever way you want. Just make sure that by March 20th, you've entered all the sections and the distances that you've skied. The Coureur des Bois will need to record GPS data with a phone or with a watch. If you're someone who doesn't have a GPS watch and you don't have a phone, don't get too nervous. We do allow people to take pictures of their phone. We ask things like the time of departure and the time of arrival. And maybe you can even take a picture of the map, the trail network that you're skiing, to show that you're skiing the 60 kilometers. There's no need to take pictures of Gold Camp. We're trying to reduce the number of pictures that we're submitting into the receipt system, I guess, because it kind of bogs down with a large number of participants. So last year we were asking folks to take pictures of Gold Camp, of their camp setup, as part of the proof of performance. They don't need to do that this year, but by all means they can take pictures. We encourage that they take pictures. As I was saying earlier, put stuff on Facebook, Instagram, tag ski marathon, can ski marathon, and generate the excitement by tagging us along. So key changes, some of, two of these 3 bullets are pretty straightforward. We've extended the dates to 6 weeks. I talked about that. The submission results will be simpler. I just spoke of that. The other one is the 60 kilometers instead of 50. I just want to talk a little bit more about that. We're very aware, and people will know that I'm one of the old dogs who's, I'm a little bit of a purist when it comes to the Canadian Ski Marathon, but I know that we have to be open-minded and realize, yeah, that made Fred laugh. You guys might be so. I have a reputation to uphold, but anyway, don't laugh too hard, Fred. Chris, I think you should go on mute if you're going to laugh so much.
I'm on mute, so you're
Okay.
good.
The event is 80 kilometers, and this is obviously 60 instead of 80. One of the important factors is when we have the in situ event, we're asking people to ski 80 kilometers. They have, there's 5 sections, so there's like 4 checkpoints along the way where we're able to give them water and calories. And there's a safety network. We have expert safety people with, with communications, the ability to extract people that are injured. So there's kind of a network that allows people to challenge themselves and to take a little bit of risk and go outside of their comfort zone. I know that many experienced coureurs de bois are able to do 80 kilometers on their own, but there are many who should have access to that category, for which they have a bit less experience, and it wouldn't be responsible for us to ask them to go and ski 80 kilometers without a proper support network. And so last year, it was the first year we were doing this. We wanted to be, cautiousness is a little bit better than taking risks when we have hundreds and hundreds of skiers that are skiing this category. And so last year we started at 50. We think a lot of people learned from the experience. We also know that when we finally go back to Montebello and have an in situ event, we're going to have a lot of new skiers, and we're very excited about that. But having said that, they need to understand, what does it mean to ski 80 kilometers? And so we've upped the challenge. Basically this year, it's 60 kilometers instead of 50. That's kind of the rationale. Don't ask me, will I make it 70 next year? Because next year there won't be a pandemic. But I think I've covered it pretty well on that, eh? You guys can nod your heads if you think I've covered that well.
We're getting many questions in the background on details of submitting, particularly the tour results. What we're asking people to do is, for every time they go out and ski, whether it's 15 kilometers or 30, enter into zone 4 that on February 27th, I did 32 kilometers or whatever. Do not try to enter one event saying on February 27th, I did all 150 kilometers. So once per outing. And you don't have to do those results on the same day that you did the ski. You can wait and enter a few at a time, but then enter one per outing.
Yes, and an outing will, for a tour, an outing will typically be, it'll rarely be 60 kilometers. It will probably never be 60 kilometers. And it would
I can tell you from seeing all the past results, most tours ski 15 to 17 kilometers each time. A few will do 30, 32 and count for 2 sections. Once they're doing more than that, they're probably signing up for half marathon or Coureur de Bois.
Well said. We're not too much more for me to say, folks, so you can get excited that I'm almost done talking. So best event in the world, we all know this, and if we don't know it because we're new, that's cool. Just come with us and ski, and then you're going to know it, because we're the best cross-country skiing family. What makes us unique is we're not a race. We refuse to publish, even though now, like in the old days, we didn't really, well, I'm sure we had the technology, but we didn't go out of our way to collect timing of skiers. Whereas now it's just done as a matter of fact, because we have technology that helps us track the skiers. And when we have an in situ event, we know exactly what the timing is. We purposely do not publish timing of skiers because we don't want to promote the idea that some skiers are faster than others. And of course, some are faster than others. And of course, some care, and that's totally cool. We know that there's skiers, people are competitive, but at the same time, our event, is not a loppet. It's a family event where you can choose your level of challenge, and we're intending it to offer something to everybody. And so somebody can, ski with a big pack and sleep outside and do 160 kilometers. But then there are people that ski with their kids that are 5 years old, so, some older folks, people that are novice skiers, that are very happy to be out there and ski these 15, 30-kilometer outings each day, because it's a beautiful trail that we use only, once a year. So it's an awesome event. The cool thing about participating virtually is because our event is not a race, and we tend to care more about, annual participation and coming to the event and participating. Our kind of events, our award structure is more catered towards, you keep coming back. And we have something called the pink bib or the Weber bib for people that do what we call touring. And as they accumulate sections through the years, by the time they get to 50 sections, it might take people, 8 to 12 years to accumulate 50 sections. We retire their number and they get a pink colored bib with a number that is unique to them. And so as you participate in the event this year, all these awards are real. These sections you accumulate count towards your Weber bib. If you're somebody who's doing your bronze, silver, or gold, the progression counts. If you're getting your 5th gold this year, your number you'll get your own number at the end of the year. And of course, because it's virtual, you even have more opportunity to ski with family and friends, where some moms maybe are Coeur des Bois moms, but during that weekend it's hard for them to ski with their kids, and now they can enter 2 categories, or they can have the kids ski a little bit with them, and so it's much more versatile in a way. So it's kind of exciting. And of course, we have the best. We have cool awards. Our medals are really nice looking. We have a beautiful toque. I do know that our toque, because we had to make kind of economic assumptions at the start of the event. Chris is wearing the fancy toque. We have the nicest toques in the world. I think our initial order was 900 toques. So the first 900 people to register, and we're approaching that now, will receive their toques in February, I believe, like soon. We're about to mail them. Whereas people who kind of wait, we're going to do another batch ordering of toques, and they'll get their toques, a little later down the road. But everybody's getting a toque, the annual CSM badge, and if you so choose, you get your medal as well. And just as a side note, the ski marathon has done a really good job over the years, kind of progressing more towards trying to be a green event and be more conscious of the environment, and exercising the best practices to minimize our carbon footprint and our impact. Part of what we can do as an offset measure is you can choose to plant a tree. I think it's a $4 donation for planting a tree when you register, and that's generating a lot of trees. We're pretty excited how that's progressed. The event was good last year. There is a certain amount of COVID fatigue out there. We need people to register. The event, needs skier to survive. It's a nonprofit organization. If you're on the fence, go and ski. It'll be good for you. It'll be good for us. It'll be good for Canada. So
the great news, Real, on registration numbers is that today we crossed the 900 number. So in fact, if you have already registered, we've already started the shipping process. Otherwise, if you're registering later on tonight, you'll receive the toque soon after the event.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris. So if you go to our website, I think that date has been corrected. By the way, you're seeing February 5 and 6. That's an old slide that I did. The event obviously goes to the 20th of March, like I said a moment ago. There's a bunch of information under different tabs. There's results from previous years. There's the traditional definition of the event, the way that it's sat for the last 54 years before the pandemic, and the way that it will be defined again next year. But for last year and for this year, we have this new tab that we created called in this year, it's the 2022 virtual marathon. I'll skip right to the skier guide. The skier guide is finished. We're going through the translation process and adding the graphics. I think it'll get released in the coming days. The official training trails, I discussed that a little while ago. If you go to that link, you'll see, I think we have almost 50 official training trails, more than 50. We're not at 60, are we?
No, but I think we're approaching 55 now.
Oh, awesome. And as I said earlier, you'll get a bib number. You'll go to this link to print your own bib. You can see, get your bib number from the confirmed entrant list. And there's a 2-pager info with its own Q&A under the virtual marathon info. And of course, that important registration register tab, that's where you go. It links you to the Zone 4 registration page. I'll mention that, we've had some software issues. I think I said at the start of the presentation, we were a bit late opening registration. Some of that was us waiting to see what was happening with Omicron. Some of it was we were changing supplier to do the payment process, and we had to test some software. We've noticed that some Coureurs de Bois, their registration is a little bit particular because the system needs to know that they have a bronze in the past or a silver in the past or a 4th gold in the past, and the registration system kind of keeps track of the the progression. If you're having trouble registering as a silver or as a gold or as a bronze, just sign up for a bronze. That should work, and then follow up with an email at info@skimarathon.ca, and we will upgrade you to the appropriate level. It's Chris that does all that work, and the office as well. So actually now it's probably going to be the office. I think I mentioned some of this. If you're doing, explore the CSM training trails, if you have an opportunity, even as part of your training, if it's not just to do the event, but just to train, go and, a lot of us tend to go back to the same place all the time. It is kind of fun to see new trails and improve your skiing skills by seeing more skiing, on more varied terrain and seeing more variety. If you haven't done a 60-kilometer outing before, if this is your bronze, for example, you're not used to it, seek advice. We have a group of ambassadors that are also available from our website. Reach out to us. I've often tried to help skiers with practical advice on how to do their first big outings. A 60-kilometer day, is easily a 7 or 8 hour day. Perhaps with no support. So if you need some help on tricks on how to do that, just reach out to us. Feel free to use your car if you have to do loops, and you can have some gear at the car to have like a mini checkpoint, whatever it is you need to do. The skier guide does have little tips. We're about to publish it. Read the skier guide. The skier guide we do every year, and it's always particular to that year. And so whether it's an in-situ event that's going to Buckingham, that's going to Lachute, we have usually details like, bus schedules and all sorts of details and tips of how to do the event. And now we have a virtual CSM specific skier guide. And of course, sign up, tell your friends, tell your family, force them into skiing, sign them up without telling them. We approve of it all. We need to generate the same excitement, that we had last year, and the ski marathon needs you.
Rial, I'm going to pose a question to you that was put on the in the Q&A. I pose this one with caution because it might cause you to talk for half an hour. But someone's asked for some tips and tricks on nutrition and hydration skiing a marathon.
You're right. That was so for nutrition, the one thing I'll say is, don't wait until you're hungry, and try to eat evenly through your outing. And then depending if your outing is 4 hours or 10 hours, don't eat in chunks, eat gradually throughout. Find food that will cope with the temperature well. So if it's a cold day and you're using power bars or gels, pre-cut, pre-packaged things so that you're able to to eat them and chew on them through the day. use a guideline of 300 to 500 calories an hour. Hydration, find a way of insulating your water. I take hot water with me, you know, use a thermos. You know, if you go to a local sports store, they have fairly decent thermos bottles nowadays that for the longer outings are a must have. If you're somebody who perspires heavily, try not to sweat as you're skiing. Sweat, whether it's 30 degrees outside or minus 30 degrees, it's a sweat is your enemy. So try to ski within yourself and not to perspire too much, and do use electrolytes as needed. Could I drop it at that, Chris? Because you're right, I could keep.
Thank you.
And Chris made the joke about I can talk for half an hour. You know, reach out to us, reach out to me through the ski marathon. I absolutely love talking nutrition and all you know, all that stuff, and I'm always happy to help out. I'll also let people know that our office, we have new office staff. We had some trouble with the email and our phone lines were down for a little bit. Everything is up and going now. If you're using the info at skimarathon.ca, we had a bit of a backlog. We've caught up. We're doing quite well. And so everything is up and going with the office beautifully. And so if you did have a bit of a glitch in the last few days, just restart, and everything is going great now. So just reach out to us. And my final comments on COVID, I guess, I said a little bit of this at the start. You know, we all live in different communities with different challenges. Things are starting with Omicron. You know, we're seeing, I guess, a decrease in cases. And so I have to adapt this message, you know, whether I'm talking on week 5 or week 12 of the year, because things are going up and down. But just kind of be aware wherever you live, you know, be respectful and safe for your own circumstances and whatever rules and regulations are in your community and your area. If you're skiing, we know, with a group of people, if you need to social distance, you know, do what it is you need to do in your community, and you know, and be safe and be careful out there is all I could say. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm just somebody that cares, and I just want to make sure that the CSM promotes good health for all the participants and for all the communities where we show ourselves. Oops, Q&A. I think I'm done talking, actually. Good timing.
And as you know, Rial, as you've been talking, Fred and I have been replying to specific questions in the Q&A, and in fact, they've all been answered. You've covered a lot of the material generally, and people have been asking about how to upload touring events, as you mentioned. One person asked an interesting question, and it's an interesting misperception that I'm glad to have answered and corrected. If a tourist skis 10 sections, does that mean they have to register 10 times and pay the fee 10 times? While we might enjoy you doing that,
the money,
that is certainly not the intent. A tour is encouraged to ski as many sections as they want. As Rial has correctly said, the limit of credits toward a permanent bib are 10 per year. But lots of tours upload results of 15, 20 outings each of over 15 kilometers, and it's great to see them do that. And that's all in that one fee.
And you can also register as teams and corporate teams. I know corporate teams are 12 skiers. Club teams are how many skiers, Chris?
There are 3 types of teams. Generally, there are various categories of teams of 4. So it's 4 men, 4 women, 4 mixed, but they are always 4. And before I explain the rest of them, we have many skiers who are frustrated that they don't actually earn a team award at the end of the event. And that's because the rules are simple. You need 4 people on a team. So 3 people doesn't count, yes, and 5 doesn't count. That would be an unfair advantage. So teams of 4, we have families that can be 4 or more, as long as there's a parent and 1 child in there. And then we have the corporate team, which is 12 people. And we actually added a new team category today to the registration page, and it's not too late to change people into it. We have a special category for 4 juniors, so that they're not competing with mixed teams of adults. So there's a special award called the Viking Award for the team of juniors that accumulate the most number of sections.
Cool, cool. Oh, one thing I didn't mention, if you're someone who aspires to do your gold, if you haven't noticed in one of our latest e-blasts just a few days ago, there are it's either 3 or 4 locations that are helping people out by for a very reasonable fee, letting you ski on their network. I'll just name one, but it's not the only one. Like Canuck, for example, which we normally ski through during the ski marathon. We ski on their trails. They're letting skiers go there to do their gold, and so you give them, I think it's at least 48 hours notice. You phone them up, you make a reservation, you pay on the phone, and they will have for you the bales of hay and the firewood and a little area where your fire will be set up for you. I used them last year. It was exquisite. It was a really nice way of doing it. You can go there with, an appropriate group of friends, whether it's 2 people or 4 people, and do your gold camp at one of these locations. Saint Agathe, I think, is the other one.
Camping Saint Agathe is another one, and Fred will fill us in with the others. No, Diable is one.
Yep, le Parc Régional de la Montagne du Diable is also available. I was there skiing 2 weekends ago. Really nice place.
I could, the recording is paused intentionally. It doesn't matter. I don't know what else I could say, guys.
We can leave. On peut laisser un peu de temps aux gens si jamais, if you have any more questions that are popping up. During that time, I would like to promote the Facebook group. I think maybe you talked about it a little bit, Real, but really, if you are not member of our Facebook group, you need to. This is where everybody's posting their ski outings. There's some people that already posted some of their trainings. People are asking questions. Like there was a question today about what kind of sleeping bag someone could use to do gold, and then people are exchanging, and it's really a great not also a tool, but it's a great space for the CSM community. And I had like a wonderful time last year. It was my morning routine to get my first cup of coffee and look at the posts that were submitted and read the comments and see the exchange. And we could feel the community spirit. Everybody at home, but at the same time, everybody together. About the skier's guide, we are confident that it will go out tomorrow. It's in review mode, and I'm sure I was answering some question, but I also sure that you talked about the Zone 4 link for the submitting results that will be going out tomorrow as well.
In the meantime, there was a question posted that's a fun one to answer. And the question is specifically to each of the 3 of us as the panelists here: will we be skiing in the virtual marathon? So Sorry if I take the chance to give a long-winded answer. Is for me, absolutely. Of course, I will be skiing in the virtual event, and I have an extra agenda or an objective that I want to accomplish. We have new awards this year, which we haven't announced, but I'll let the cat out of the bag here. We will have bronze, silver, and gold patches available for people who ski a certain number of official training trails. So I think the first patch comes out if you've skied, it's either 10 or 15 trails and so on. So not only will I ski the virtual event, I will make a point that every one of my 10 or probably 15 outings will be at a different ski center on an official training trail. So go visit lots of different places to ski there. It's a great experience. And I'm sure Réal and Fred will each have very different answers of how they plan to participate in the event.
And I almost want to answer for Fred, because it's one of our great joys that, you know, when someone is an event director, that weekend, he doesn't sleep a lot. And, you know, it's been beautiful to watch Fred come in 8 years ago, and our event has grown and changed and is, you know, I think a bit more professional than we were before, and we have a professional dude running our event. The sad story is he can't ski. He hasn't been able to participate in the event all these years. And last year and this year, I know we can't stop him. And did you sign up for all the categories last year?
Yes, I did.
Yes, he did. So it's kind of, Fred's one of the superstars. He signs up for the tours, for the half marathon, and for his bronze, and he's doing his silver this year. And so that's pretty awesome.
And needless to say, he signed up for all three and he achieved all three.
Yes, of course. He does live in Montebello after all.
And Réal's story is a boring one.
Yeah, well,
number 30 what? 30.
For me, it's like through sickness and through health, and whatever that saying is, I'm married to the CSM, and I have been sick at times. I have been injured, but I have not missed a year since 1991. So it's pretty hard to stop me from participating. This will be my 32nd consecutive year. And I can say, I often tell this story. The first time I got the gold camp was 1993. And there was a gentleman across from me at the fire, and he was getting his 5th gold. His name was Carl. And I thought, and I won't use foul language on this call, but I thought, what is this guy doing this 5 times? How could he possibly have 5 goals? It felt like it was so hard. And you get used to it. And suddenly here you are, and you're one of the old dogs, because the years have gone by, and I'm one of the old dogs now. And I don't know how not to show up.
There's a famous saying from Gold Cour de Bois skiers at the end of every event. That's it. Never again. See you next year.
Oh, that phrase is also common along volunteers and
yes.
and everybody around the CSM. So never again.
I have to say,
jusqu'à l'année prochaine.
And because we're getting near the end of the call, and I just want to, I said this at the start, for those of you who maybe this is your first or second year, you have a reason to come back next year, because you want to see the volunteers and get an opportunity to say thank you to them face to face and shake hands and pat on the back. They're awesome volunteers who stay out there at no matter crazy temperatures, crazy weather. The teams, they're smiling out there all the time, looking after the skiers. It's just very humbling.
I have a new thought, and apologies if you've covered this while I was busy typing answers to skiers, but have you talked about skiing with a legend?
Actually, it was next to, that's what I was saying next, Chris. You read my mind.
I have I'm just gonna jump in and put Chris on the spot here. And sorry for everyone. We have so many projects going on that sometimes we kind of lose track of some stuff. So Chris, for the training trail project, for the passport. So to gain the bronze patch, is it 10 center in a lifetime or 10 center this year?
We haven't faced that question yet. The award program is new this year. So my thought has been that it starts with the ski season. But I think if you accumulate over a few years, submit your evidence as you reach each of the levels after a year or two, and it should be cumulative.
That's what I had in mind. So I'm happy that we all agree. So the idea is to promote skiing, and
Yes.
I think we're kind of all the same. We like to ski kind of always at our local spot, and we get on nos petites habitudes. And to me, one of the biggest factor of to do a sport is faut que ça soit, c'est la proximité. I don't know, proximity? Yeah.
Good proximity.
C'est pas mon âge familial. So, but to have that program in, we want to promote our partners, and we want our folks, our community, to go and visit those places to basically to bring money at those places, let's be honest, but also to visit other ski center. And then when you go to a center, then as a CSMer, and then you're there to ski, but also because it's part of the program, then it helps promoting the event as well. So it's really a win-win-win situation. And I'm sure that people are already thinking about, okay, well, where's my first stand, and then where's the next stand, and then afterward. And maybe we'll get some people that will really ski a lot of centers.
And if there are skiers on this webinar who notice that their favorite ski center is not in the program, write to us and propose it. We're adding them. We probably add 3 or 4 every week for the last many weeks. There's a few that will not participate due to some COVID restrictions. We have been struggling for 2 years to get Gatineau Park to join the program, and we think we're close. There's a few other fantastic ski centers around Ottawa that are dealing with overcrowding issues because of the success of skiing during COVID. But at the same time, we'd love to add more, and please propose your ski center to us, and we'll be in touch.
On that note, I'll dovetail into a couple of things before we go to kind of closing remarks. Speaking of trails, just one of the Q&As I saw, Rick from Utah did mention that, if you're traveling in that area, they would love to know that there's Canadian Ski Marathon skiers at their center. And so don't be shy when you're traveling, whether, it'd be awesome if it was in Utah, whether it's this year or next year. Introduce yourself as a Canadian Ski Marathon skier. The owners of these different ski centers would love to hear from us and see that we're impacting and bringing skiers to their area. And a lot of them know our event and they love our event, and it's just great to see the kind of cross pollination of skiers across different areas. And it's kind of slightly related to the question that Chris asked me a moment ago. Again, watch Facebook, watch the eBlast. We've kind of partnered with, I mentioned that we have roughly, over 40 ambassadors that are folks that have a long history, not necessarily a long history. Some of them do. Some of them are newer. They're people that know the event quite well. And then we also have skiers, like myself. I'm not necessarily an ambassador, aside from the fact that I obviously am through my role. But I have a long history with the ski marathon, and we're asking them to kind of help along and promote the event and ski in their different areas and advertise. And so we're kind of calling it, ski with a legend promotion is what we're launching. And so you'll hear from there's a fine example of Marc Fontaine. We'll probably see him in the French session in a half an hour. Marc has been got 15 gold bars. He's got a permanent bib. He was trapped in 1990 into our event. You can check out what You Can Never Leave. And he's going to ski on February 5th with the cool CSM clothing that he's got. 15K in Parc de la Mauricie. So we have people signing up. There'll be a small group. There'll be some giveaways from some of our sponsors. And people can chat with him and ask him questions and learn about the event, and get firsthand tips from people who know a lot about cross-country skiing in general and cross-country skiing in the context of the Canadian Ski Marathon. And so that's the first one that's taking place is with Marc on Saturday. Thank you, Marc.
He's a skier that represents some of the insane levels of enthusiasm for the event. His reaction last year to a virtual event over a 5-week window is that he will do his gold Cours de Bois on each of the 5 weekends.
I love it. I think we're drawing to a close. We got to get ready for the French seminar. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to be with us. And thank you for your passion for cross-country skiing and for our event. We truly, we kind of assume that most of you that are on this call will participate. If you have any hesitation, if we can, help motivate you to sign up, let us know, because we like talking cross-country skiing, and we love convincing people to do the event. I've been doing it for 30 years, and I don't mean skiing the event, but trying to convince my colleagues and my friends to sign up. So thank you for taking the time, and see you on the trails. I ski mostly in the Gatineau Park in Ottawa. So see you guys around. Chris, any few words?
You'll find me skiing during the weeks on any of the 5 urban trails in Ottawa. We're blessed here with 5 fantastic ski centers that are totally free of charge, funded by donations and local governments, that take us right from Canada to Orleans and south. They're a fantastic resource, and 4 of the 5 are part of our training trail program. Weekends, I'm skiing in the Laurentians.
And yesterday, I skied 30 kilometers on those urban trails. I wanted to, for a quick outing without using the car. I had the skis over my shoulder, walked half an hour to the trails. It was awesome. I just love that whole concept of not getting into a car, skis on top of the shoulder, with a small pack and my boots in the pack. It was just pure clean living.
We tend to think first of places like Gatineau Park, but these urban trails are on public transit, free of charge, accessible, and they're multi-purpose trails. You'll be there with snowshoers, fat bikers, walkers, and they all cooperate and work together. And can't say enough positive things for that new movement in Ottawa.
The grooming is A+, very nice grooming.
One of the main groomers of 2 of the urban trails is someone we jokingly refer to in the CSM as the godfather of the CSM. And last year he did his gold Cours de Bois by intentionally skiing in all 5 of the urban trails.
Awesome. Shout out to number 166. Fred, any last words?
This is all inspiring. Well, I'll be skiing for sure. I haven't decided on where I'm gonna ski or when I'm gonna ski my silver. Not this weekend. I think next weekend, you're skiing in Canuck. That's correct?
Yes.
So I'll be in Canuck on that weekend. I'll be sleeping at the Prospector tent there, but I won't do my Courant des Bois, but we'll catch up and ski a little bit together. Yep. And talking about proximity and the local trails, I have now the pleasure of going to work by skiing. So we created a small réseau here in Papineauville, just near Montebello. I work at the high school. I'm a teacher. I'm a high school teacher, phys ed teacher at the high school that we usually use as the dorm. And now we bought a small groomer. So we have like a 8K trail to ski with the students. And from my home, I put my skis right outside my door and I ski to the school. This is great. And we're gonna bring about 40 kids to Canuck to ski. They're gonna have the choice between skiing 2 sections for 30K or ski the half marathon for 45K. So this is all from CSM. If CSM was not in the region, I'm sure that we won't have that many ski equipment at the school. We won't have Groom Trail here in Papineauville. So CSM is really a big c'est un moteur de changement. C'est vraiment important pour la communauté. So again, just super proud of being with everyone, and hopefully I'll see you guys somewhere on the trail, and see you back for the real thing in 2023.
You bet. Thank you, everyone.
Merci
Take
beaucoup.
care. Bonne chance, tout le monde. Happy skiing.